get started here on our very first edition of 52 weeks. This is the first week of January. You are going to want to grab your printables and some basic supplies and print out your journaling prompt list or look at your journaling prompt list. So in the previous video, I showed you all of the printables that come in the full bundle that you now have access to as part of this class. And what I did was, I have a Brother ScanNCut, so I printed them out on 8.5 by 11 PDFs, and then I just ran them through my Brother ScanNCut, and it was pretty easy just to cut out all these pieces. You can do it manually too, so sometimes I take scissors and I'll cut them out, fussy cut them, or I'll take a paper trimmer and I'll cut them. The printables have a light gray outline all the way around them, so even these tags have a light gray outline so that the Brother ScanNCut or your die cutting machines will pick that up. So also I have available the PNGs if you'd like to print and cut the PNGs as well. So print out the ones that you want. I printed the whole entire printable because I will be doing 4 layouts with them. So I like to have it all available. You can just pick and choose which ones you want to print and which ones you want to use. So let's get started setting up week 1. I would also like to tell you all the things that I'm going to use. So keep in mind that your basic supply list is, you can use the printable or not, it's up to you. It does come with the class, so I'm going to use the printable. You will need probably some scissors, you will need a pen, you will need some type of adhesive or tape runner. And then if you want to, if you don't have it, it is okay. There are no rules here. You can grab some matching washies, which I have in both of these, and we can get started. This is a very easy, very low tool, quick way to journal. So if you don't have some of these items, use what you do have or don't use them at all. There's no rules. Your book is beautiful however you put it together. I'll be handwriting sometimes. Sometimes I'm going to use printables, and I will put these are 2x2 clear sheets that I print on. I also have 3x4 that I'll link you up. I just wanted to let you know that I will alternate between handwriting and printing. I have carpal tunnel really bad, so sometimes I just print it all out. It's easier for me. So if that's easier for you too, you can also take the printable and also type your journaling straight onto your printable. If you'd like to do that, edit it before you print it out. It is okay. There's no rules that say it has to be your handwriting. I know a lot of people do say you should include it, and if you want to, do it, but if it's easier for you to type it or print it, do it that way too. I can only imagine that when they came out with papyrus and ink, that all this cavemen said, oh my gosh, they're not going to teach stone chiseling in school anymore. And so the prompts that I'm going to be using, and on our list, I have some bullet points with some prompts that you can use. Some of them were on the cards and some of them are not. And I also have some thought starters, and I credited Overthought this. I thought these thought starters were amazing for January to think through some different ideas of what to journal about. I'm going to use 3 of them. I'm going to use 3 beautiful moments of 2023 that stand out to me. I'm going to use my 2024 word. And then I am going to journal about my biggest challenge of 2023. So use all or none, but those are the 3 I'm going to use in this book. And I'm going to speed it up just a little bit so you can watch the process as I go through some of the cards to choose to put in my first week layout. I am looking for cards where I can tell those stories. And I also like the Goodbye 2023, Hello 2024, since it is the first week of January, December ending, and then January beginning. So I am pulling out some of the cards where I can put those prompts on. These clipboards are nice. They have a lot of space. Some of the tags, and then some of the plain papers as well. So I do plan to use the 3 journal prompts, and I'll also add another story that I thought of telling. Some of the other cards with the check boxes are great for listing, but this week I'm not going to be doing any listings, so I'll probably use those in a future layout. And I'm looking for the smaller one pieces now, the 2x2s and some of the banners that I can use on the cards and in the prompts. So I'm happy with this set, so I'm going to place them around on the collage layout here to see how it will all fit and if I have enough space. I'm also looking at some of the labels to figure out how I am going to put some titles or some different items on the 1 1/4 by 4 pieces. I'm also looking at balancing the colors on either side, making sure I have enough, not too much on one side, so I'm balancing out some of the colors as well. I thought that top 2x2 card would be great. It has a geo marker, so it's perfect for my word for 2024, and my word is start. Just start. Have you ever had paralysis of analysis? I think that's my middle name. I like to research and analyze, and although I do get things done and I go for it sometimes I just get stuck in my head and I just need to start. So that's my reminder to myself this year is just start. That would have been 2 words or I would have put it on there, but I stuck with start, and I'll be journaling throughout the year about that and doing some goal check-ins to make sure that I'm just starting. So I like this Happy New Year 2x2 card, and I decided to glue down all the pieces that I'm not going to journal on that I know that I can just glue down. I go ahead and do that. I don't do it always. I am doing it today because I'm still trying to decide how I want to talk about my journaling. So I'm sitting there just pondering that and thinking that. And so while I do that, I am putting down everything I know that I'm going to use or that I've confirmed in my mind. So those are my journaling prompts on the cards and the 2x2 cards and that 4x3 goodbye and hello. I just went ahead and put those down. I had something sticking in my prompt there, and so I cut it off. I'm looking at a couple of my titles now to see where I will place them or if I will, and I decided to not use, I don't believe any of those, and I decided to not put currently or today. I think I just have January out. So I'm going ahead and committing to the last few cards that I put my prompts on, and then I'm going to pick up the pieces that I'm going to stamp and play with just a little bit more and move my book out the way. So I am going to stamp these pieces. I pulled out 2 or 3 stamp sets, and this one is from Serendipity. Last year it was the kit. You may have this on hand, and there maybe some in the store. I will link it up. And so using the rule of thirds, I just stamped that circle 3 times in a light color. And I love this sprig of flowers. I think it's beautiful. So I stamped it to the left of that card. There's a saying on there. It says, be who you are, not who everyone wants you to be. And I thought that that would help me get over my paralysis analysis, because I'm always thinking through or having concerns. And you know what? I'm just going to be who I am, not who everyone wants me to be. And in a little bit, I do journal on that card, some thoughts. So that was very poignant to me to put that down here starting 2024, just to remind myself.
And so for these two plain labels that fit in that 1 1/4 by 4 box, I pulled out the stamp set. I've never used it. And it says Love Life. And I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to love life. Slow down. Embrace what comes my way. Embrace the imperfection. And just live my life. I pulled some premium dye inks that matched the January printable collection, and this is Daydream, and I will link it as well. I believe I have some in the shop. If you don't have this, no worries. Use a similar color, use a black ink. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, and you may not even want to stamp in your book, so no pressure there. You may have stickers or a title or die cuts or something else that would look lovely on those labels. So grab something out that resonates with you or leave them blank. So I decided to handwrite the week. I didn't feel like getting another stamp out or hand stamping it, and I didn't print it beforehand, so I just hand wrote it in. And I think this is step one of getting over the analysis paralysis, because I just wrote it on there and left it at that. So now I'm pulling out my story stamp. It's a 4x6 stamp set that's in the shop. I'll leave the link. And this typewriter font says, "We are made of stories." I decided to add a story. I thought long enough about it of what I wanted to put on the spread. So I stamped that at the bottom of the card, and then there's the word story on the stamp set as well in the matching Daydream ink. So that card is ready to go. And now I'm going to pull my book back out and see how it all looks together. So adding my stamp cards. Okay, so I decided I liked it, so I am going to go ahead and commit it to the book. Next up, I am going to pull out that little ink dot on the story stamp, and I'm going to stamp it in different places on the layout. I just think it gives it a little bit more dimension, and I'm using that same matching color. You'll want to watch out for the spine of this notebook. I forget sometimes to put my stamp down on the layout and pick it up with the stamp. Or you could just place it all the way to the edge of the stamp, because sometimes the block is bigger and it fits the spine, so you want to make sure that you're either picking that stamp up with the block or you're putting it all the way flush right or flush left to the stamp so it'll stamp nice and smoothly. There's also that little rose on the story stamp, and I think it matches the Love Life stamp set where I had that larger rose that I stamped in that straw color. So I'm adding this little rose in a couple different places just to kind of tie it all in together. And again, if you're not a stamper, no worries. You can either join along with me and try it out as a new technique, or I'm sure that you may have some stickers or die cuts or other items or washi tape that would be lovely, and the cards stand alone on their own for a nice, clean, modern look, depending on you. So here is the finished foundation for journaling, and I love this, and now I'm really excited to get the journaling.
All right, now that you see the spread is put together, so you notice that I glued down the cards that I was not going to journal or modify first. And then I took the other cards that I stamped them, then glued them down. And then I did a little bit of stamping after I got it all glued down. I added a little bit of stamping and embellishment on the page. And here we are. So now I'm all ready to journal. I've got my journal prompt, biggest challenge of 2023. I have a spot for a story. So story, we're made of stories. And then beautiful moments of 2023. And then I have this spot right here for my last journal prompts, which is, I think I've decided to use things I would like to try in 2024. And that's what these 4 are. So I decided to add one. So next I am going to go ahead and journal and fill these spots in. And while I do that, since this journaling is personal to me and you're probably going to want to do your own journaling, I'm going to tell you a short story that I wrote just for this week's lesson. So join me in journaling and listening to the story, and I'll see you in a minute.
Everyday Encounters, a short story by Andrea Warren. We encounter people every day, but rarely take a chance to get to know them. What if we stopped to make a memory? As we stand next to the older, dapper gentleman in a worn old hat, can we hear the words that have not been spoken? In the heart of a bustling city, where the rhythm of footsteps and the hum of conversations blended into a symphony of urban life, lived a man named Oliver. Every day he walked the same crowded streets, passing by countless faces without a second thought. To him, they were nameless strangers, mere background characters in the play of his existence. But one day, as Oliver waited for his usual train, he noticed a woman standing nearby. She was engrossed in a novel, her eyes dancing across the pages with a certain fervor. Intrigued, Oliver felt a spark of curiosity. Instead of burying himself in his own thoughts as usual, he decided to break his routine and lean over and ask, excuse me, Oliver said with a shy smile. I couldn't help but notice you're really into that book. What are you reading? The woman looked up. She was surprised, but not unwilling to engage. Her name was Emma, and she spoke animatedly about the story that had captivated her. As the train arrived, they continued their conversation, discovering that they had shared interests, and they exchanged anecdotes. As days turned into weeks, Oliver and Emma's chance encounter blossomed into a genuine friendship as they met each day at the train. They explored the city together, sharing laughter, dreams, and unspoken words that had lingered beneath the surface of their everyday lives. Oliver realized that each person he passed on the street had a story, a unique perspective waiting to be heard. One evening, as Oliver and Emma strolled through a park where the sky was ablaze with the hues of the autumn setting sun, Oliver turned to Emma and said, Isn't it incredible how we've walked these same streets for years, surrounded by people we never really knew? What if we took a moment to make a memory, to hear the words that have not been spoken? Emma's gaze met Oliver's as the profound truth in his words sunk in. Together they decided to start a project, a series of encounters with strangers, each one an opportunity to unearth untold stories. Everyone has a story to tell. Their initiative spread like wildfire, creating ripples of connection throughout the city. Strangers became friends, and the once anonymous faces on the street now became friends through shared experiences. The city transformed into a tapestry of relationships, woven together by the threads of countless chance encounters. Oliver and Emma's story became a testament to the power of breaking routine, of pausing to connect with the people we encounter every day. In a world that often seemed to move too fast, they proved that by stopping to make a memory, by listening to the unspoken words, we could enrich our lives and create a tapestry of shared human experiences. The most beautiful stories often emerge from quiet moments of ordinary lives. Beautiful stories unfold, illuminating the extraordinary in everyday people.
All right, and there you have it. My word for 2024, start. the prompts that I wanted to use. I feel so much better now that I have talked about the things I wanted to talk about. I didn't have any photos to put on this spread, and it's okay because I had a lot to talk about. I'm going to add a couple little finishing touches with my washi, and then I'm going to call this one done. Washi just lends a nice little pop of color here. And I just have some random ones that match. Just kind of ties the color scheme together. There was one more I wanted to use, this one. And so grab out your washi and add, because I'm sure everybody has a ton of washi like I do. All right, then maybe up here. All right, this makes me happy. I am absolutely loving this. Maybe I'll add some photos for next week, but this is my first week in January. I hope you enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what you make. Please post it in the group so we can all look at it, and I'll see you next week.